Hi everybody. No, I mean it's a bit of a sort of it has not really been thoroughly planned. This is I don't know, I wouldn't call it a lecture, like me talking to you guys here. So I think we should keep it pretty informal. Yeah. So we're even wondering if I should put some slides up or not, but we can just keep it like a conversation, and I'll just show you a few some of the stuff that we've been doing in Delft over the last couple of years. And hopefully we can have more of a discussion rather than a lecture or a presentation. It's too hot and I'm not prepared. So yeah, okay, I'll just say a few words about myself. My name is Tomasz Jaskiewicz, and I'm a PhD candidate in the Faculty of Architecture at TU Delft. And currently I'm also coordinating the Protospace Laboratory, which is something else than the Fab Lab in Utrecht, but the name is the same somehow, by coincidence. In our group, we're basically focused on what we call non-standard interactive architecture, and we're directed by Waag Society. We exist for about 10 years now, and we teach a lot of different courses in the bachelor and master program in architecture, and also some interfaculty courses, and we also do a lot of research. And we do some commercial projects if opportunities present themselves. Okay, so I'll just say a few words about, in general, a little bit of the background of what we do, and just a random collection of a few projects, just to give you some reference, and hopefully we can have a discussion. But please also interrupt me at any moment if you have any questions. That would be much nicer, because kind of normally lectures, it sucks, and it's just not good. So like, just to explain the words, what we call non-standard architecture is, I mean, the term has been sort of coined about 10 years ago, and there's different words for that. Some people refer to it as parametric architecture. I mean, there are of course slightly different tints to what it means, but the whole idea is that when we're talking about non-standard architecture, the whole process of creating a building is based not on repetitive modules, but modules that can be customized. And I mean, it's common sense these days. So it's nothing very special, it's just that we use the word non-standard for that. And this is just typical sort of design process, and this is a building of Waag, and it's also an element where I also had a chance to work for some time. The cockpit building on the way from here to Utrecht, close to Utrecht.
The screen.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically it's a long sound barrier, about 1.5 kilometers long, and at some point it inflates, and inside there's a car shower. Yeah. And basically there are several thousands of different components, tens of thousands of different components in the whole thing. There are not two of them are the same. That includes the struts, the nodes, the glass panels. They're all modular, but they're all unique in terms of exact designs. So, I mean, typically, you make some kind of design first, and you can do it more or less iteratively. And of course, parametric design allows you to do many more of the iterations, and then you create some sort of construction drawings and do some standard hard end, let's say. You can very easily fabricate all these things, and this gives you either Stalbo, a steel company, and building them, but basically everything is super accurate, and because of that, the whole assembly process goes really smooth. And in fact, with this building, the cost was comparable to the standard building with the same square meters. So in fact, what you pay it costs a bit more to fabricate all the stuff, but you actually save a lot of the assembly. You cut the time a lot. So this is a starting point for us. This whole logic system, standard architecture. But the next step is just to ask ourselves the question, like, what happens if in that linear process of design, assembly, and then usage of the building, you actually, include some sort of feedback loop? What if you don't just do it once? What if you keep repeating this process over and over and over again? So what if you actually keep iterating through the design process after the design is finished? I mean, design is never really finished. So what if you keep updating it, keep fabricating new elements, embed all sorts of sensors and actuators in the building itself, and feed all that information back to the original design model, and see it, rather than as a linear process, see it as an iteratively loop process where all this thing feeds back to each other. Again, I mean, recently, a lot of you are talking about these things, so again, probably it's common sense for you guys, but just to explain the terms. So the first was non-standard. This is interactive architecture, but as Rory Glynn would have argued, there's more to interactivity than just that. But okay, let's talk about it later. So these are basically the principles, and well, you could explain this stuff from different perspectives, but this was basically sort of the starting point for us for our work. So like these slides are actually 7 or 8 years old. Yeah, so this is, it all comes down more or less to this. So like the first line is the possibility of prefabrication of a building, of parts of the building, and basically, you have some kind of irregular complex structure, and then at some point you may decide, okay, I need to alter it somehow, so you just fabricate the elements, you take them apart, add something new. It can take, if you're using a digital process and if you do it smart, then it can take you less than a day to this kind of modification. And you can accelerate this process by the use of actuators, sensors, and so forth to actually include dynamic elements in buildings. Well, kinetically transforming, but also changing the light and sound, where this iteration goes down from, let's say, 1 day or half a day to minutes, seconds, or even seconds in some cases.
But what would be a reason to reiterate?
Okay, this is a really good question. So I'm basically doing this, showing these slides from a more technical perspective. I should probably open the presentation. No, in principle, you have to. That's sort of the whole background. At least the way I see those things is that if you look at architecture, we tend to see architecture as something inherently static. If you talk to a random person on the street and ask something about a building, the person would refer to a building as something that's supposed to last, and that's been sort of dominating the architecture theory for centuries, for sure. I mean, even if you go back to Vitruvius, I mean, Prometheus is one of the 3 main qualities of architecture: the stability, the firmness. Louis Kahn talks about buildings lasting, the quality of building being something that's eternal, that lasts forever, for eternity. Architects making things that are supposed to last forever. But if you start thinking about how it really works, it's nowhere close to that permanence. Actually, even when you're realizing your project after designing it, it always comes out different than what you've envisioned. But the really important thing is that if you're designing something for a specific function, I mean, that function is just bound to change. Things are bound to be used differently. The conditions, the context in which you're realizing architecture is continuously transforming.